Welcome to episode 4, everything you should consider for your next press release.
Welcome to the PR Playbook Podcast with Ranjini Joshua, the only podcast that teaches you how to strategically navigate the world of public relations and social media and grow a powerful brand.
Welcome to the episode I've gotten asked about the most since we've launched. What to do, how to create, and why, maybe even if you should use a press release. I'm excited about this particular segment because we have a great giveaway for listeners today at the end of the podcast. Keep listening to find out how you can win a free press release distribution via PR Newswire. Press releases have often been the tool for PR professionals to communicate with the media in our own unique way. Many people might tell you that the press release is dead. I definitely don't subscribe to that school because I've personally never spoken to a reporter that doesn't want a press release when I have some new piece of information from one of the companies I'm working with. In fact, that's probably the first things they ask for when they want to determine whether what we have is something they want to write about. It's a key piece that I use in my daily practice. We should start with understanding maybe the purpose of a press release to give you a clear framework on why you need one. A press release can be used in a couple of different ways. It's basically, one, used as a backgrounder or fact sheet by the media to get the basic information they need to build a story. It's important to understand that these press releases shouldn't be positioned as marketing material with flowery and verbose language. It's really for facts and news. And the second type of release is an industry trend or announcement, where you have all the gold you need to create an amazing story with your announcement. These types of announcements can stand on their own and drive interest from all over. We should answer a few key questions when developing a press release. First, is my news really newsworthy? This is the one that companies and brands struggle with the most. Take a hard look at your headline and determine, are you putting out something that's really newsworthy or just something that's important to you? It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's really important to take a look at this. The rule of thumb is to only put out news when you feel like it's something that needs to be conveyed to the public. Companies that put out junk releases will be known as junk release companies and less likely to get noticed when they have something really important to say. So make sure that you have a very pointed headline and focus in your announcement. Second, what are the goals of your announcement? You should have 1 to 3 goals for each of your press releases. They can be anything from incoming sales to social media likes to media pickups. It really depends on the purpose of your announcement. Examples can include anything from investor interest to media hits and social follows. What is the call to action, lastly? What do you want the reader to take away after they read the press release? Are you attending any trade shows? Do you want to meet up there? Are you selling products? Do you have a customer discount? Did you win an award and you want to show that you're a leader in your industry? Make sure that you have a clear directive at the end of the release so people understand really the end goal. And when I say people, I'm really talking about the media, because if you tie this all together, a press release is written to communicate information to the media. And that's something that's sometimes confused with some of the brands I work with. They'll write the press release towards the customer. And the truth is, the media is going to pick this up and turn it into a story. So you don't need to be writing for the customer. You really need to sell the proposition and value of the press release to the media so that they can craft a story that will get the customer's interest. Once you have a good draft or idea, then you can actually pull together a press release with our Anatomy of a Press Release worksheet that's located on the show notes. Then there are a few additional considerations. So this is a pretty long process. First, when you're doing an announcement, what is going to be the timing of your announcement or your release? When do you want to release your news? So if you're talking about just the day, typically Tuesday and Wednesdays are the best days. Fridays and Mondays are the worst days to do announcements. And then you want to consider the timing of the year. Is your news seasonal? Are there industry trade shows or conventions that might be going on around the time of your release that may impact how much interest you're getting from the media? I know a lot of times we try to avoid some timeframes in August and September when Apple has their big show. We do a lot of tech PR announcements, and we don't want to release Apple accessories around the Apple show because there's a lot of Apple news then, and all the reporters are consumed with it. So you really want to consider what's going on. Aligning it with a trade show of your industry is probably the best opportunity. Distribution. Once you've got a press release ready to go, how are you going to distribute it? There are several press release posting sites that you can post on just to get SEO links and trackbacks, but ideally you'll use a newswire, which is something like PR Newswire. There's PR Web, there's Business Wire. We like to use PR Newswire, and what they do is two things. They generate SEO links back to your website, but then they also distribute your press release to the desks of news journalists. So example is that a reporters will sign up for, let's say, health and fitness news from PR Newswire. They get all the news that's tagged health and fitness straight to their desk in a report. And so they get to sift through all the press releases from that point on. So the great convenience and positive side of doing a newswire distribution is that you get media looking straight at your press release every morning, whoever kind of tags that specific industry. Last but not least, you'll definitely want to create a media list. You want to create a target list of media of about 25 to 30 people that really will focus on your news announcement. Select reporters that are writing about the topic of your press release. It isn't too hard to find. Typically what we do is we kind of Google and look up the topic in the news tab. You do have to be careful sometimes because sometimes they cover an industry once and don't cover it again, and they could have just been assigned to the story. The dynamics of the media are a little bit shifting. But also another really interesting hack in finding really relevant media targets is by looking up your competitors and seeing which media have been writing about them. And they're probably likely to be interested in your news as well. Now that we've gone through the hard part, we get to the fun part. Access our press release worksheet and other relevant sources in the show notes for this episode. And only for this episode, we'd love for you to submit your press releases for edits and enter a chance to win a free distribution through PR Newswire from our favorite distribution vendor, eReleases. We'll be accepting press releases for the whole month of March. You'll get feedback on your release, win there, 10 target media for your news, and a free release distribution with eReleases. Send it to podcast@thesilvertelegram with the subject line, I need release help. I hope this was a helpful podcast for you to develop your next press release. I'm eager to see your announcements and work with you soon. That's all for now, and see you next week.